Well, that emperor without clothes, that poseur who calls himself President of the United States, has launched and unleashed, in fact, a trade war, a tariff war, primarily directed at Canada, but also Mexico and the European Union. And I suspect where Canada is concerned, it's going to be seen as a David and Goliath struggle. But they're wrong. Canadians are actually aroused. The Prime Minister seems suddenly to have steel in his spine. We'll probably be sending the cavalry to the border. All of the suggestions to explain what's happened are so nonsensical, it's impossible to absorb them. It's said, for example, that because the renegotiation of the North American Free Trade Agreement hasn't ended on the terms that Trump wanted, he is applying these tariffs in order to force us to capitulate. But in fact, Canada will and has retaliated. Well, it is said that it's a matter of national security. How in God's name is that possible? How is it possible that the sale of Canadian steel and aluminum to the United States compromises the national security of the United States? It's absolutely nuts. Or it is said that Trump doesn't like the European Union and international trading agreements, and he's impatient and he's sending a message. But the message is one of utter chaos. Or it is said, well, he's going to play to his base in Pennsylvania and Ohio, the Rust Belt states, and make sure they're on side. But in truth, by forcing Canada to retaliate, prices will go up on goods and services in Pennsylvania and Ohio, and his base will be offended. The whole thing is preposterous. And when I read the news stories around it, I see words like impulsive, erratic, mercurial, unpredictable, and along with that, an analysis frequently that suggests that Trump is some kind of master genius manipulator, constantly disrupting things to keep us off his trail. One day it's Russia, the next it's the FBI, the next it's environment, the next it's Stormy Daniels, and it's all a careful design so that we're one or two steps behind. I believe none of that. I said at the outset when he was elected, and I say it now. The man is a fool. Now, Jeffrey Sachs, the renowned economist, has a column today suggesting that he is both delusional and given to gibberish. Well, the truth of the matter is, as far as I'm concerned, that there's nothing in his mind that functions other than flailing around madly. He is an uninformed ignoramus. The world has to understand that. And when historians write about this period in America's political history, they will title it The Years of the Fool. That was last week. I'm Stephen Lewis.